Just a reminder before today's programme that the previous Ident Review Extra is still available to view, where we took a look at I Love 1980s. And now, here on AMTV, time for the latest instalment of the Ident Review Extra, and this time, it's time to kick back and have a laugh. Hello, and welcome to the Ident Review Extra, the spin-off show that takes a look at one individual ident each episode and gives it the review it deserves. And today we continue our marathon through the BBC2 idents of the 1990s and now the early 2000s. Today in our BBC2 journey, we look at an ident that comprised of 3 variants that made up yet another themed night for the channel. Comedy shows found a reliable home on BBC2, and in the early 2000s you had some absolute classics air week after week. But you don't need me to tell you that. I'll let Anne Robinson explain to you the appeal of Comedy Night.
Smile, it's Monday, and you're watching Comedy Night on BBC2. First, a new series of Never Mind the Buzzcocks. You can try playing at home, but you won't be very good. Goodbye.
Well, that was something, wasn't it? This is weird. Very weird. But I admire it for its weirdness. We can see a computer-generated version of Anne Robinson help promote BBC2's comedy output, with some questionable mouth-moving, lip-syncing action going on. Why Anne Robinson? Well, in early 2001, Anne Robinson was a household name due to her hosting position on the hit game show The Weakest Link. Her stern and cold attitude was often parodied, and it seems the BBC were no exception in joining in. The computer model of her is quite awkward and very unnerving, but back in 2001 on a modest budget, I can appreciate that this is the best they could do. Or maybe, dare I say, it was intentional that it turned out this way. You may also notice little twos glide by in the background, just to help remind viewers exactly what they're watching, and that they haven't stumbled onto some sort of bizarre channel. But this is just one of 3 variants of this ident, so let's have a little look at variant number 2.
New comedy next on BBC2. 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps. Featuring I, Anthony, get us a cup of tea from the royal family. Did you know that? No, I don't think you did. Goodbye.
These computer effects get stranger and stranger. The format of this is virtually the same as variant 1. We have the Anne Robinson model berate the audience, like she does on The Weakest Link with the contestants, before her jaw extending to unnatural proportions, amongst other wacky goings-on. I like how the announcer rushes to a conclusion before saying goodbye, as this again is mocking Robinson's style on The Weakest Link. Whilst at least the script is different, I think it would have been nice if they could have offered us something completely different using the Anne Robinson model, rather than just follow the same format again. But with variant 3, it seems the designers at BBC2 decided to do just that, so let's have a little look at what they came up with.
I hate you so much right now!
Now, room 101.
I have no words. Absolutely none. Never in my days did I think I would see a head-banging Anne Robinson, but especially to parts of Kellis's court out there. It's a very bold image to go for with an ident, and again, props to them for going with it. Very unlike the BBC back in the day. I must say the hair on the model seems to have become more big and bouffant, but in some angles, I dare say it almost looks like she's wearing a turban. Does anyone else see it? It could just be me going mad for staring at this for too long. There's not a great deal more to say on this one, only that if you've never seen Anne Robinson dance about, this is probably the closest thing you're going to get to it. Overall, the Comedy Night ident and its variants are a fun experiment. They look very dated now, and the cultural landscape has shifted, that if younger generations were to look back, they may not have the same affinity with who Anne Robinson is, and therefore not find any appeal. The CGI is basic and jerky, but it was 2001, and should the BBC ever attempt something even slightly similar to this nowadays, not only would the graphics be better, but I'd hope that their approach to it would be with the view of making their comedy idents a little more timeless. And so we've come to the end, but before we go, the final words from our broadcaster. This programme has been brought to you in part by our producer and director patrons. With your support, you help keep AMTV running and the programmes coming to your screens. Thank you. And that does bring us to the end of another evening here on AMTV. We hope you enjoyed the programme, and we hope to see you next time. Good night.